Good morning, this is Pixie in another video. Let's talk about fasting, I think, and stuff like keto and the vegetarianism, so vegetarian type plant-based meals basically. Just cut it all down a bit. So if you eat sort of like, if you eat meat and sort of eggs and certain fats and protein basically of animal products, then you're kind of doing the keto route. But there may be a tendency maybe to lean towards more protein. And the thing I was doing some research is that you've got your different energy types in foods, so your body can use protein for energy, it can use fats for energy, and it can use sugars for energy as well. And the issue I've had with my diet is that, well, a lot of people, if you're omnivore, then you probably eat meat and you eat vegetables in the day. And what you might want to do really is have a session where you just eat vegetables for one day and fruit, just have a fruit meal, that's what I've been working on, and then possibly have the animal products on the following day or something else. Or when you feel like you need them, you may not. It depends on your lifestyle and everything else. But however, I think it's unhealthy not to have anything to do with it. An animal sort of product, even if it's just like cheese or eggs or something. Just because I don't know if you'll get all the stuff from your vegetable-based diet, because minerals are fairly depleted. You might have to have vitamin supplements or something if you want to try to get around that. But ideally, that might be a different way. It's just difficult to hit all the sort of points really needed, all the spots in your diet. So anyway, so the reason you want to come off that, the reason you want to I got distracted then, is basically your gut biome, and you may have, see, people they've got bacteria in their stomach anyway, so you've got your bacterial gut flora, and you may have something in there that's not completely compatible with you, or it might be something that you're having a reaction to, and you're feeding it, and it's living off animal proteins. It could be that you come in via an animal protein source, and because you're eating it all the time, it never really gets fixed or sorted out. But if you switch a food type, certain bacteria die down and others become more active. And the thing is with things like your vegetable-based things, it's going to be any bacteria that's come in the process is from a vegetable source, so it's not going to be sort of in conflict with your own body. I mean, there's other things that are not too bad, and maybe to let things ferment a bit as well. I mean, we live in a very sterile environment. You don't have to, like with water, you have it sealed in a bottle, let daylight get to it, let the chlorine break down a bit. It's not going to be a big issue in your environment. I mean, if it tastes off, then there could be things in it. It could be because it's too acidic and a bacteria is able to live on the surface of it. But generally, it's not too bad. I mean, I found that water that's sort of aged a bit better. You can always boil it as well, it's not a problem. It's the same with things that are fermented a bit. So originally I started this week with, I got a load of cooking apples of people. People gave me a load of apples. Here, have some apples. I got some apples comfitry. And what I did with them is I put it in my slow cooker. But for some reason I had some stuff I was defrosting, so I added it to it. And it was like Stilton and broccoli. And it kind of tastes really weird, this mixture. So I kind of turned it into turned it into a bit of a curry. And it still didn't taste quite right. And it was just too sharp, the apple in it, and I was thinking, curry powder and apple, it tastes a bit weird. So I've left it a while. I haven't eaten for a couple of days. This mixture was in there. And then last night I thought, well, you know what, maybe you could do a Thai or curry thing with it. And so what I've added, but I did decide to add some meat to it, so I've added some sausages in it. And I just put the sausages straight in the slow cook in the mix. And I've put coconut milk, there's some green curry pastes. I did just want to get lemongrass, but it was difficult to find in this particular store I went to. And there's some garlic stuff. I just want to make sure my body's healthy. And so I've just sort of cooked that for ages. And So I've cooked it all night long. I had the slow cooker on high, so it was bubbling when I woke up this morning. And the sausages, though, are perfectly cut. They seem to be cooked well. The problem is when you put things in slow cookers, if you don't cook the sausages right, or there's maybe sausage of a certain type, the skins go all sort of rubbery and come off and stuff, and the texture, it kind of ruins the texture a bit. The same with like you go with chicken. People like chicken legs and things, and skin might come off, and there'll be a bit of strange sort of texture to it. But it blended up, it'd be fine, would be an issue. So the reason I've left it to sort of ferment, it broke down the apples. The acid in the apples were too sharp, and now it's more palatable to my taste. It's more neutral. It seems it's quite interesting the way the flavours are sort of binded with the coconut milk, and it's really got a nice sort of a mix. So moving because I still do my fasting, so moving my OMAD that way. I'm trying to look at maybe like a day of fruit and a day of plant-based, and then maybe I need more of that. Maybe there's out of balance. But putting meat away for a day and then having say you have a fry up or whatever you have in a week will kind of, you're giving your body a chance to reduce certain types of bacteria, reset itself in one way, and then also introduce different nutrients that are good for your own bacteria that's living in there, because you may have quite a poor gut flora. I think a lot of people do. I mean, I do. When I go to the toilet, it doesn't really smell, and I'm thinking, well, that's because there's not much. Your bacteria levels are somewhat different than they were when you were younger, and so I'm looking at improving that. The introduction of sweetness has caused a lot of issues with gut bacteria as well, come across. So if you're having lots of regular Diet Cokes and stuff, yeah, it's diet, but it's got things in it that are not necessarily natural to your body. So I'm trying to work towards nature, that's what it is. It's not like I'm against science and progress and industry. It's just that it comes at a cost sometimes, and that could be your own personal health. You may be just like, well, you're just a customer. We tell you the stuff. We don't care beyond that, So I don't have to, because it's all about supply and demand. While we keep creating demand with you, we can keep supplying you, and you keep making money out of it. And things like antibiotics. It's amazing how many people are into vaccines and stuff. Someone's giving me advice on vaccines. So, if you eat that, you could get a cold. I'm thinking, yeah, that's because it's damaged your immune system. I can't see why they'd be advising you that you could get a cold after you've had a vaccine. Possibly they compromised the immune system by overloading it with a virus. If you're healthy, there shouldn't be a problem. If you're completely unhealthy, it could be a problem. Or the vaccine level needs to be reduced somewhat drastically. You only need a small amount of the virus. However, I don't think it works like that, really. The body reacts to a living threat, but if you've got a dead virus inside your body, it's not necessarily good. I don't know what else they're putting in there. They're not open enough about this sort of research. I mean, how do they create a vat of dead virus and then turn it into a vaccine to inject into people? Are they just simply using some sort of protein to relate to the virus? And then what happens is when you get autophagy or other process where you're overloaded, your body may synthesize and use that virus in its own DNA, and you don't want that. It damages you long term. I haven't seriously been sick for about 5 years. If I have got a cold or something, it lasts about a day, and it's probably because just a bit run down. Just need a rest, good old sleep, and then with the fasting though, I don't think I'm going to get sick at all. And things like they talk about, well, that's bad, that's cancer. I say, well, it's not going to be an issue for myself. Well, I hope not. If not, then maybe something's wrong with my diet, or I've damaged myself in some way. But the fasting is the route to keeping the body protected, because it goes into protection mode when it's fast as well. So there's different ways to do that. And also, I think to be burn more calories when you go plant-based for a bit. I think it's the point of tricking your body, because if you do everything the same constantly, you get used to it. But if you switch it up, mix it up a bit, then your body has to adapt. So it's every time you eat, eating is stress itself. So if you eat a different combination of foods, that's why people simplified their diet if they're very sensitive, because their body's highly stressed, they want to eat less food. And it may be why people, when they're stressed, they like to eat, fancy like eating chocolate and stuff like that, because they just want something basic with the energy they want, but they're trying to avoid certain things. And then there's other things like dark chocolate and things like red wine are not meant to be bad for you, actually. You can always slip them in your diet as a little treat. So anyway, this is Pixie sign off for this video, and speak to you soon.